Historical proof that content marketing works. Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. Today I have a nice thick history book here. It's really an encyclopedia. I think I've shown this on the show before. I've got weird things that I like, and one of the weird things that I like are old radio shows. You could see the old replica old time radio behind me, and I love old radio shows. This is the Encyclopedia of Old Time Radio, and I like them because they were from a time previous to television that is almost completely forgotten in American psyche, even though it fully enveloped the entire country. It was the first form of mass media, and so many of the things that we deal with today had their start in radio or were affected greatly by radio. And I can go on and on and on about that. But one thing in particular, and this was something I had completely forgotten about until just recently, came across the fact that this thing existed. And it was a radio show that was on for barely 5 months, okay, back in 1938, and it was called the Mickey Mouse Theater of the Air. And you're wondering what this has to do with anything. Now, what we do on this show is we talk about business, and we talk about modern day business and how it plays into principles. We talk about the strategies that you can use, and we talk about tactics that you can use. So up until now, actually for the past 6 or so videos, we've been talking about how to do YouTube. Well, I'm going to take it back a bit, and I'm going to tell you the reason, one of the main reasons why you want to use content marketing. Content marketing is not new to the internet. Content marketing is as old as the hills, as my grandpa used to say. He didn't say that about content marketing. He just said old as the hills. It was a phrase he used to use. So this is one of those things that Walt Disney was a brilliant content marketer. Excuse me. He used to always use any form of media possible to promote his art form, which wasn't necessarily his direct art form. It was the art that he was producing. He had all the great artists working for him, and they produced these amazing things. And one of the things he was most passionate about were his upcoming movies. So his first big feature-length film was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It came out in 1937, in December of 1937. In January of 1938, he had this radio show, Mickey Mouse Theater on the Air, okay, or of the air. And the whole thing was music and a little bit of talking back and forth between the cartoon voices. I mean, it's a cartoon, for crying out. Mickey Mouse was just cartoon characters that at that time, television was not mainstream. That time you saw these characters on the movie screen. Okay, Mickey Mouse was a huge phenomena. This is 10 years after he was in existence. He came out in 1928, really took off quick, became worldwide, known worldwide. So this is 1938, 10 years later. He's got his own radio show. Okay, it's not all centered around Mickey and the gang, although they're there. And you hear their voices, and you can picture this cartoon mouse and cartoon dog and cartoon duck sitting there talking about things. But the whole point of the show was to promote Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And this show went on for 5 months doing just that. And they had characters from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The whole thing was to promote this movie, this amazing movie. And it wasn't the only place where they were promoting it, but it was certainly a huge, huge thing. Here it says, excuse me, the Mickey Mouse Theater arrived just in time to publicize the first Disney feature-length animation, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It was broadcast from the Disney Little Theater on the RKO lot, with most of the characters from Disney cartoons appearing at some point. The seven dwarfs singing or together were regulars. The Felix Mills music had a proper cartoon sound to it, with Donald Duck and the Webfoot Sextet, a feature of sorts. Donald's gadget band consisted of such instruments as a meat grinder, an auto horn, a Bob Burns-style bazooka, and a syrup cruet hurdy-gurdy. The latter was operated by Maestro Mills and Soundman Reese, who really could coax music out of it. So, goofy, wacky stuff, the type of thing you could never imagine a cartoon being put on the radio, but they did it. He got attention for it, and I think it worked. It is not the last time that you saw content marketing from Walt Disney. Walt Disney did this all the time. He started using television in the early days. In fact, the show that we all remember growing up with some version of it, my parents grew up with The Wonderful World of Disney. I grew up with the Disney Sunday movie. You know, it was always the same show. They had different titles to it, The World of Color, all these different titles. And all it was a deal between ABC at the time, which was not owned by Disney at that point, became owned by Disney much later. But they made a deal with ABC that it would be the network of Disney in terms of anything that they could, they'd show on there, and they would have an hour-long show that was to be shown. I don't know if it was originally shown on Sunday nights off the top of my head, but it was shown on a weekly basis. The original show's name was Disneyland. This show came out before Disneyland was open. It was divided up into, the show itself was divided up into different sections. Adventureland, Tomorrowland, all the different sectors of the future Disneyland that was to open. And they had different stories and different shows and replays of cartoons and movies from Disney that they would show on the TV show, all for the promotion of Disneyland. Walt Disney was a massive promoter. He used content marketing constantly. Provide content while at the same time providing a commercial of sorts to be able to promote something for somebody to buy. That's the whole idea. You can be a content marketer too. It doesn't matter if you're running a mechanic garage or whether you are selling widgets on the internet. It's the same thing. People enjoy being entertained. If you can find a way to produce entertainment for them while at the same time giving them an option to be able to use your other services or products, they'll do it. That's what content marketing is all about. So that's all I got for today. Hey, go check out my book, 9 Ways to Amazon-Proof Your Business. If you really want some broad-based strategies that you can use, it's a great book. It's a great starting place, and there's got lots of other links to other things and recommendations of other books and other people that you can go check out also. It's a quick book. AmazonProofBook.com for your own free copy. AmazonProofBook.com. We'll be back here tomorrow night. In the meantime, get out there and let the magic happen.